Hey guys, Mishi Mavros here, and today I wanted to talk about borderline personality disorder and intrusive thoughts. I'm sure a lot of us that don't have personality disorder are not too sure about what intrusive thoughts are, what that kind of entails, and how often we may experience it. And it's definitely hard for us to vocalize as well because it comes from a very internal, a very dark place that we definitely question ourselves. We don't necessarily take these thoughts to be completely true. There are instances where we do. Sometimes we know they're not, real, but we still think, it's our deepest, darkest, most insecure part of ourselves giving us these thoughts. So intrusive thoughts basically can range from, you know, lower end being like, I don't think these people like me. I don't think I should be around them. I don't think I should continue to, initiate a friendship or, you know, continue working here because everyone hates me. And then on the larger scale, on like a very serious end, sometimes we can even begin to think that, maybe we'd be better off dead. Like we'd be better off not being alive. People that we love would be better off. Sorry. Lou. It's Lou. Um, these thoughts become very, very encompassing. They can completely swallow us, and it becomes hard to think about anything else. It definitely can send us into a deep, like dark depression that's hard to get out of. It's hard to think about anything other than what our mind is perceiving us to be possibly a fact, that everyone hates us, that we're toxic, that we should not be around anyone, that, the person that we love would be so much better off without us. They deserve a chance at a normal, healthy relationship with someone who's not, in our minds messed up the way that we are, the way that we perceive us to be, thinking that our families would be better off, thinking that we're just a burden. This can become, something that is not controllable. It can come out of seemingly out of nowhere, and so that's why it's understandably hard for people that don't have borderline personality disorder to understand why we're getting these thoughts and where they're coming from and what to kind of do and how to react. Sorry, I'm just gonna grab my cat. Lou, say sorry for meowing during my very serious video. Meow. No, now he's purring. I think he just wants attention. So unfortunately, things that happened to us in the past can really play a part on how we think about things in the future. And by that I mean that we can oftentimes think that people hate us or think that people don't like us. We can, perceive these little like slights as a genuine dislike, where it might just be someone having a bad day or something like that, and then our brain will tell us, no, they hate you. They're going to tell everyone that they hate you, and then everyone's going to hate you. And I think a lot of that comes from, I feel like a lot of us grew up like not the most popular. I grew up definitely being bullied like very seriously, and so I just have that, I guess, post-trauma kind of feelings towards being around people, in large groups again, or being in a social circumstance for long periods of time, getting to know people. Our brain is like, remember when that happened, even though it was all these years ago, like it totally will probably happen again. And then, at first it's kind of like, no, like that's not the case. I get these thoughts a lot. It's okay. We can talk ourselves out of it, but sometimes these thoughts just become reoccurring, and it gets harder and harder to kind of talk ourselves, out of that state. Also, times too, I find in like a relationship setting, it's very hard for me to feel as though I am good enough for my boyfriend. I feel as though he gives me so much more. He's so much better. He does, he deserves the absolute best, and it's hard for us, to believe that we could be someone's best. And so it's been difficult kind of, teaching myself that it is okay, and you can be someone's best as well. But just these thoughts sometimes are like, he'd be better off without you. He if you love him, then you would like set him free and let him live a healthy life. And these thoughts come at the randomest times, usually at night when it's like hard to sleep, or there's other things bogging us down, and then all of the negativity seems to just spiral out of control. and then it's really hard to kind of go back to that emotional like baseline, and then even the next day it's so exhausting, like staying up and just worrying and like kind of rotting over that feeling of not being good enough, and that you should you know that people would be better off without you. It's a really depressing feeling, and it's one that we definitely need to work on improving, because that's not the case, and we are not these awful, horrible monsters that we set ourselves up to be. And I think that there are definitely other people out there who would agree that people with BPD are monsters, and we should be cast away on this island where no one that's healthy should be allowed to talk to us, and we're just fucked up beyond repair, and there's nothing that we can do. There's people like that are that serious about how awful we are. But then when we're telling ourselves this as well, it's not helping. And when we're in a stable state of mind, I feel like that's bullshit. Like, that's not true. But in those like depressive states, it's easy to just get in your head and be like, you know what, maybe all these trolls are right, maybe everyone's right, maybe all the people throughout my life are right, and I should just not be here. And it is such a serious thing that that we're experiencing. And anyone that experiences intrusive thoughts, whether or not they have borderline personality disorder, these can become very debilitating for us. And so it's important, I find, like, talking about it, and even if it seems like ridiculous. I remember I was having some pretty bad thoughts, and I expressed them to my boyfriend, and it's almost embarrassing, because when you talk it out, you're like, I know that this is stupid, like, I know that you want to be with me, and you're not going to just like leave me for someone better. I know that like I deserve you and you deserve me, but I'm just having these kinds of thoughts. And getting past your own head, and letting yourself talk about it, as irrational or as crazy as it may seem, it is healing, and venting it, and with someone that's willing to communicate those things with you, it's a very, very beautiful thing. I don't take it for granted at all. I cherish it so much, just being able to, even if having a bad dream, I find that when we're having those intrusive thoughts, they can like manifest themselves into dreams, and I'll have kind of like nightmares about either like getting cheated on, or everyone hates me, or that kind of thing, just because of like that past. And having to grow past the past is still a very scary and difficult thing that I know that I'm gonna have to do eventually. And it comes in stages, and it is a lot better than it was before. But I wouldn't say that I'm completely over it, but I know that that's how we can truly heal, is getting past that and accepting that we have all of this hurt from past mistreatments, but it doesn't have to be carried with us into the future. And when a relationship or anything in your life is giving you so much fulfillment, you owe it to yourself and to them, or to anything, to kind of like communicate and make sure that all the feelings are present and out there, and then you can kind of work towards moving past them and getting that sense of relief that like, okay, I figured it was all in my head, but hearing someone say it and making me feel better, knowing that that's not true, it does make all the difference. And so I really, really recommend communicating, even with anyone, even if just a good friend on the internet, even venting out these thoughts. I find that it's not toxic at all, as long as you're not like acting on it, or like it's hard to say when that becomes too much, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, like, I don't want to hear about your problems all the time, and I understand that too. Like, people aren't necessarily supposed to just stick around when they have their own lives, and sometimes hearing about someone's trauma often enough can get what I would feel to be kind of a lot to handle. So I understand that not everyone is willing to do that, but when you do have that one person that you can share that with and feel so comfortable with, and just let it all out, it's a very cathartic feeling. So I really appreciate my boyfriend for that, and I know that I'm going to be still having intrusive thoughts. They have been getting a lot better, though. I don't feel as much as if I'm not supposed to be here. I haven't experienced any thoughts where I've thought I'd be better off dead in a long time. So it's celebrating those small victories, and congratulating yourself for at least moving past who you were before. Not to say that you are completely 100% cured, but letting yourself feel proud of yourself for even the smallest victories, or or noticing that, hey, I haven't been as cruel to myself lately. That's awesome. I haven't, thought about these unhealthy, toxic traits as much. And slowly, it's a process, and I'm still going through it as well, but I find that it is definitely a journey that I want to be on, and I appreciate you guys so much for always listening to me just kind of vent and rant about anything BPD related on my mind. It is such a complex disorder that has so many different little things associated with it that most people don't necessarily think of immediately, and especially with intrusive thoughts, it's such an internal monologue that we're having with ourselves, and so it's not really easy to see from the outside how we struggle with it every day. But hopefully we can, get past it and practice mindfulness and positivity, and we can get through this together. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your continued support. I will be posting videos every week. Until then, cheers. Thanks. Bye.